What's up, YouTube, and welcome back to another one of Tyler's Tech Tutorials. And we just got done building our first virtual machine on our newly built host machine. So we should have two host machines, one running, one not. DC1 is going to be our domain controller, and as you can see, it's all set up, ready to go. One thing that I want to do real quick is you see how it's still saying no network access. Technically, I could probably let me see. I mean, I could probably still gain access to the network if I really needed to. So I don't know if I'm going to mess with that right now. Let's see though. All right, so yeah, that's something we do have to change. All right, so let's get back to PowerShell. There's two different ways I could do this. I could go through the network shell through PowerShell, which is my preferred method, or I could just go through the graphical user interface. And for this demonstration, that's what we're going to do. All right, so we're going to do. Oops, we got numlock on. I hate that. 0.0.1. Then we're going to go with Google DNS. And we're just going to do a config flush. And now it's pinging away. Very cool. So now let's activate the shell. And what are we using this server for again? We're going to install Active Directory domain services. So we're going to, this is going to be our forest. All right, our forest is going to be, I don't know what our domain name is going to be yet. Yeah, so we're going to add Windows, actually no, let's query Windows features so we can get the spelling. All right, here we go. So we got Active Directory domain services. So we're going to install. We're going to install Active Directory, and that will also include DNS, so for domain name services. So we're going to install Active Directory. We're going to promote the this server to a domain controller, domain name TBD, to be determined, and it will ask us for administrator username and password, and we're going to add a new forest to this server because we don't have a forest yet. There's no trees, so we're going to build our forest. And usually for the labs, I do Contoso because there's so much available source code available and resources for building environments and setting this up for testing, which really kind of makes it handy for for this kind of purposes. But I don't know. Yeah, we're going to stick with Contoso. So we're going to promote this to a domain controller. Add new forest. So we want to add a new forest. So what I was trying to do was add an additional domain to a current forest, and obviously, so I did exactly what I didn't. I didn't follow my own instructions. So root domain name contoso.com. Yes, this will be a domain name. Have DNS. I'm going to put on our current password. And we should see a script here that will, give us the option of running this as a PowerShell script. Usually what I like to do is just save it someplace to the desktop. Just so we have it as a resource in the future if needed. Really comes in handy for building a secondary domain controller for redundancy. And it's going to tell you if it doesn't like it. So we're installing. We should see a green check mark for prerequisites. It's going to validate our settings for the newly built server for the Active Directory features. What's really handy about Active Directory is it allows you to really kind of manage a enterprise network environment. So you can, instead of going to each computer individually and setting up policies, you can manage it all through what's called group policy, and that kind of makes it very from a sysadmin perspective, it really gives us the ability to properly manage our environment, manage our devices on the network through a set of rules and policies enforced from our domain controller. So let's say USB ports. USB ports should be locked down on all computers, depending on your organizational policies for information security, compliance, and regulation. So we can lock that down on all computers from this one server. That's what makes it handy. We can set up hybrid domain joined device registration. So when we join a computer to the domain, to the on-premises domain, it will also add that computer to the Azure Active Directory domain services that's integrated through our Office 365 tenant. And we'll get into detail on that when we set up ADFS and install the Azure AD synchronization utility on this computer. So it takes a while. It's got to go through and configure the Active Directory features. That usually takes time. It doesn't. Sometimes I use some organizations install additional features on our domain controller. We're not going to. We might if we need to, like Windows deployment services, maybe only as a last resort. Mainly this is going to have our DC1 will only be running AD, DNS, and DHCP. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. If needed. Like I said, depending on, you got to build servers that best fit the needs of the organization. So in the event you have to install something and you have the availability to, yes. but this is primarily for users being able to log into their computers. So the Active Directory covers two essential roles on client-side computers. You have computers and you have users. Users and computers are both managed through the Microsoft Management Console called Active Directory Users and Computers, and you will be adding we'll be adding certain as we create users and add computers to the domain. We're going to separate them out through what's called organizational units, OUs. And as we add a computer to the domain, it'll be automatically defaulted to the computers OU. Then we're going to change that to we're going to move that to another OU. So it will inherit the applied group policy, current group policies that are linked to that OU to all those computers within that group. Same with users. So you have computer configuration, then you have user configuration. So for users, it covers policies such as mapping drives to shortcuts, and desktop shortcuts are a big one. Everybody loves their desktop shortcuts, including me. And let's say you only want to push a number of shortcuts or certain desktop shortcuts to certain users. You can actually filter that out through PowerShell and apply it to only certain members of a security group. So let's say IT Help Desk. You usually need IT admin access, not all the time. Actually, it's now what we do now is help desk support does not have full sysadmin or full domain admin access. They have generalized IT help desk, and in the event they need admin access, they make the proper notification. We want to kind of control who needs access to the domain admin credentials. We don't want to just give that out even to entry-level help desk support. So it's called provisioning, identity management provisioning, I think is what it's called. Anyways, so as you can see, the server is currently it's been promoted to a domain controller, and it is rebooting. And upon rebooting, we will log in as the administrator, but we will be logging into our domain controller. So last time we were just logging into the local computer. Now it's going to be a domain member. So we will be logging in to the domain controller, but we'll be going into the environment. We'll be logging into our domain controller on our Active Directory Contoso environment domain. You'll see what I mean when I actually do it. So it's really that's how quickly we built it. So the fun part is creating the users. So I have here a script. Oh, bummer. PowerShell scripts. And let me see here. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be creating users. Actually, it's going to be this one. I'm going to create demo users. think that we might end up using this script, and that password is not the one we're going to be using. And this is going to allow us to create a number of users all at once. So it's going to take a while to do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to sign out. Right now, I'm going to end this video and pick it up another time. I'm going to go play some guitar. So one of these upcoming videos, I'm going to be doing some guitar lessons, and it's pretty cool. We're going to do some blues, some Jimi Hendrix, some Led Zeppelin, some Metallica. So it's pretty cool. It's not going to be all geeky, boring IT stuff. We're going to do some book reports. I'm going to make my high school English teacher proud. I don't know if anybody's been reading the new Hunger Games, the Ballads of Snakes and Songbirds. I just started reading the first chapter. I haven't really had the time to dive into it yet, but I heard it's really good. It seems like an awesome book. Kind of gives a background into President Snow. So yeah, anyways, that's another story. Okay, so I'm going to pause this video, and we'll pick it up again later. Over and out.